Are you ready for the ultimate survival story? The Last of Us show on HBO will take you on a journey through a post-apocalyptic world unlike anything you've seen before. Based on the popular video game, this live-action adaptation will surely be a hit. But be warned, there are already some major changes from the original game. The Last of Us creator, Neil Druckmann, has spilled the beans on some exciting new elements for the series, including new characters and locations that will leave you on the edge of your seat. Don't miss out on this dramatic and thrilling adaptation premiering soon on HBO. Are you ready to be taken on a wild ride full of unexpected twists and turns? Keep watching. First off, what changes can we expect? The Last of Us is a beloved video game known for its compelling characters, intense action, and immersive environments. As Joel, Pedro Pascal, and Ellie, Bella Ramsey, journey across the United States, they face countless challenges, both from the zombie-like infected and hostile human enemies. But the environment can also be a major threat, with crumbling buildings and harsh weather conditions posing a constant threat. The characters in their journey are the story of art, with everything else as a backdrop. But it looks like the upcoming HBO adaptation of The Last of Us is making some significant changes to the original story. In the game, Joel and Ellie start in Boston's quarantine zone and make their way west to Wyoming, with a stop in Pittsburgh along the way. In Pittsburgh, they meet fellow survivors Henry and Sam and encounter the dangerous group known as the Hunters. However, according to recent casting announcements, Henry and Sam will be hiding in Kansas City, Kansas, while Joel and Ellie meet them in the TV series. Similarly, Kathleen, a character played by Melanie Lynskey, will be leading a revolutionary movement in Kansas City. This is a significant departure from the original story, as Kansas City is not only much further south and west of Pittsburgh, but it's not even a location that appears in the game at all. It's unclear how these changes will affect the overall story and how they'll fit into the larger narrative. In the video game, Joel and Ellie's journey is filled with all kinds of challenges, and one of the most memorable moments is when they meet Henry and Sam. These two brothers serve as a parallel for Joel and Ellie, with Henry taking on a fatherly role for his younger brother, just as Joel is struggling to care for Ellie. The tragedy that befalls the group profoundly impacts Joel and Ellie's relationship, as it's a key moment in the game. But it looks like things will be a bit different in the HBO series. According to recent casting announcements, Joel and Ellie won't meet Sam until Kansas City, Kansas. This means that they'll have gone off course and been traveling together for much longer than in the game. This could change the dynamic of their relationship and how the story of Henry and Sam plays out. In the game, the brothers' tragedy serves as a catalyst for Joel and Ellie's journey, but with the change in location, the adaptation could give them a happier ending. Some changes are being made to the original story, specifically to the character of Joel. In an interview with The New Yorker, The Last of Us creator Neil Druckmann revealed that several new show-specific traits were added to Joel for the HBO series. While much of his character remains faithful to the original game, these changes were made to suit the different mediums of television better. That's not all. There's still more of where that came from. But first, subscribe to this video, and don't forget to hit the bell icon for notification. Now let's get back to the video. So what exactly is going on with Joel in the HBO series? We don't know for sure, but it will be interesting to see how these changes affect the story. Will they change the dynamic between Joel and Ellie? Will they make Joel an even tougher survivor? We'll have to wait until The Last of Us premiere on HBO in less than a month. For those who haven't played the game, The Last of Us follows Joel, a rough-and-tumble survivor, and Ellie, a 14-year-old orphan with a natural immunity to the zombie fungal infection. The pair journey across the zombie-infested United States to reach a militant revolutionary faction that aims to use Ellie's immunity to restore the world to its former glory. It's heart-wrenching and action-packed story, and we can't wait to see how it all plays out on screen. Now, what else is changing? Joel isn't the only character getting some changes in the HBO series. It looks like there are several new characters and locations being introduced as well. For example, Melanie Lynskey's character Kathleen is a brand new character created specifically for the series, and her base in Kansas City is a location that neither The Last of Us nor The Last of Us Part 2 has explored before. Kathleen and her revolutionary group in Kansas City were among the scrapped elements from the game that made it into the series. Bill's partner Frank also seems to be featured more prominently in in the series than he does in the game. In the original game, we only see what happens after Frank leaves Bill due to his extreme survivalist methods. But in the series, it looks like we'll get to see more of their relationship and perhaps even some glimpses of happiness for the pair. This is a major change from the game, where Frank ultimately dies by suicide before succumbing to the cordyceps infection. With the first season of The Last of Us set to be 9 episodes long, it makes sense that Druckmann and Craig Mazin, the director of Chernobyl, would have to supplement the core story with additional scenes and plot lines not found in the first game or left behind DLC. While it's always exciting to see new characters and locations, it's also cool to know that there were already some abandoned elements from the original game that they were able to use. These differences and any others that appear throughout the series will likely change the gameplay experience for fans who replay The Last of Us after watching the show. But as Mazin and Druckmann have said, that's not necessarily bad. The co-creators seem confident that any changes made will only enhance the experience and give people an even greater appreciation for the world and story. Next up, what's the biggest difference? Are you ready for The Last of Us on HBO? If you're a fan of the game, you're probably counting down the days until the highly anticipated adaptation premieres. And if you've never played the game, you're probably wondering what all the fuss is about. Either way, you're in luck. We've got all the details you need to get pumped for this epic show. As the release date for HBO's adaptation of the beloved video game The Last of Us approaches, fans are eagerly anticipating what the series will bring. During a recent panel, co-creator Craig Mazin reassured fans that the show's goal is to capture the same heart and emotion of the game, and promised that even those who have played the game multiple times will be surprised by what the series has in store. Mazin himself has played The Last of Us a staggering 12 times, and he understands the power of the journey that the game takes players on. With that in mind, he promises that the series will offer its own unique twists and turns, delivering an experience that will blow fans' minds. In an interview with IGN at South by Southwest 2021, Neil Druckmann, who wrote and served as creative director for both the game and the series, shared some insights into what fans can expect from the show. While the original video game of The Last of Us features intense action and gore, the upcoming HBO series will be toning down the violence to focus more on the emotional impact of the events and the reactions of the characters to threats. This allows the writers to spend more time developing the drama and relationships between the characters, which is sure to be the highlight of the series. However, fans shouldn't worry. There will still be plenty of action and tension, just at a slightly different pace. One reason for this change is that the series doesn't need to teach gameplay mechanics like the game does, so there's more time to focus on the character development. Co-creator Neil Druckmann has assured fans that the series will still have its fair share of intense moments, and that they've made a conscious decision to shift the focus to the emotional impact of violence. But why though? This approach allows the violence to have even more impact, as it's not overused and viewers get to see the fear and terror of the characters in response to the dangers they face. Plus, it allows for a deeper exploration of the infected creatures known as clickers and their role in the downfall of humanity, making the show even scarier. It's unusual for an HBO show to tone down the violence, especially considering the network's reputation for including graphic content in series like Game of Thrones. However, The Last of Us creators Neil Druckmann and Craig Mazin felt that the violence depicted in the original video game was a bit excessive for a TV adaptation, even for HBO. By reducing the number of violent moments, The Last of Us show should help viewers become more emotionally invested in the story of Joel and Ellie. When violence does appear in the series, it should be all the more impactful and have a greater emotional influence on the audience. It's possible that an excess of violence could come across as unrealistic or even cartoonish, pulling viewers out of the grounded and serious world that Mazin and Druckmann are trying to create. By reducing the violence, the show should be able to maintain a more realistic and immersive atmosphere, allowing audiences to fully engage with the characters and their struggles. We'll have to wait and see how this decision affects the show when it premieres on January 15th, 2023. We can't wait to see how this epic survival story plays out on the small screen. With major changes from the original game, new characters and locations, and a cast of talented actors bringing these beloved characters to life, we do not doubt that this adaptation will be a hit. Don't miss out on the premiere of The Last of Us show, coming soon to a screen near you. Will you be watching? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.